What's going on, guys? Coast Dazer here, and welcome back to another video on the Coast Dazer Exodus. Yes, I'm finally doing another video about this. Just a bit late, I know. But hell, better late than ever, right? So, as this title states, I'm going to be doing a round one, basically roundup video here, and going through all the games, giving you a little review on them, letting you know what the scores were, and an MVP for each of the sets. So we're going to start off with, not in bracket order, we're going to go in order the games we played in. So the first game that was completed in round one was Step to the Left versus Infernal Warriors. Unfortunately, the first three games were unable to be streamed as the YouTube servers were down that day, but from what I've heard and from what the details I've been able to get, they were incredibly close games. Game one was pretty standard drafting from both teams, but it was a shocker to see that Infernal Warriors solo laner Joel Wykins was able to pick up the Geb and get the better of Step to the Left solo laner, just Sneaky One aka Sam, playing the Bologna. The game was pretty close for about 30 minutes until Step to the Left remembered they could group up as 5 people, and they just won the game off grouping up as 5. They just seemed to know how to teamfight better than Infernal Warriors did. Game 2, pretty much the same drafts, except a slight change, which leaned towards Step to the Left winning the drafting phase, and that showed in gameplay, because they won the game a bit more convincingly. They ran the game throughout. Yes, it was still close for a bit, however, they still ran the game and picked up the second game to make it 2-0. Infernal Warriors in Game 3 changed up their draft completely and took away the Narjar, which Step to the Left picked up in the first 2 games, and had been a real problem on Step to the Left jungler Dino Boy 777. Partnered with a Ratataska and a Hera, and some pretty poor drafting from Step to the Left, who drafted a Thanatos support, which just did not work for the situation they were in, and did not work at all, just didn't work all round. Infernal Warriors took the final game of day 1 and led to a very tense game day 2. However, forget that tense day 2 shit, because Infernal Warriors I think they just forgot to show up, because through a miscommunication they let the Merlin through, which was just GG from there. Partnered with some good drafting from Step to the Left and some terrific soul play from their ADC Alan Barr, they took the game within 22 minutes, and they do advance to round 2, and Infernal Warriors dropped down to the first round of the losers bracket. My MVP for this set has to go to Alan Barr. It clearly shows he is the leader of this team, and just played good games throughout every single game. Even in the loss, I think, from what I've heard, he still played pretty good. So he is the only option. Now moving on to Game 2, it's Dolphins Worldwide versus decept SMITE. I'm going to throw it over to Vamp to do this one, as he has more detailed notes than I do on it.
Yo, so this was a set I was looking forward to. I think everybody was looking forward to the set. 2 of the top 4 teams, in my opinion, facing off in the very first round. Very, very intense. I've got, like Jack said, I've got a few more details. I've got god picks on this one, so I'll be running through sort of the gods that each team picked into each game, and then just a few details regarding the game, and obviously the deciding factor who won each game. So first off was Game 1. So it started off with I'll start off with Corey's draft, Corey's team's draft. Now this one, it was an interesting draft. They first picked the Erlang support, which became quite a key factor in the game, followed by an AMC ADC, an Arthur solo, an Al Kwong jungle, and an Agni mid. How did Dolphins Worldwide react to this? Well, they just simply drafted what I would see quite a standard draft into this, quite a safe draft. So they went for the Fafnir support, the Jingwei, which I consider quite a safe ADC, a Terra solo, a Mercury jungle, and an Isis mid. In this game, it was quite close. So the first blood went to Dolphins Worldwide in mid, which occurred from a chase that occurred in the jungle, where the support and the jungler from Dolphins Worldwide started chasing the support from the opposite team. In that jungle, he got caught out of position, chased it all the way around to red, where mid managed to help clean up, and later on they managed to clean up the jungler as well. For this game, like I said, it was quite close. It ended up coming into the mid game. There was a group for Fire Giant, which after a little bit of confliction, Corey's team ended up taking this. And after taking the Fire Giant, they just simply relaxed a little bit, grouped up mid, pushed down mid, and it was a standard siege straight to victory. That was the closest game, I'd say. That lasted about 23 minutes. It was quite a quick game. It seemed as soon as that fire giant was available and was taken, that was the deciding factor. I will say now, the next 3 games, quite a significant ban was changed on the path of Dolphins worldwide. The Agni in mid was banned every single game for the next 3 games. It seems like they do not like playing against the Agni. But game 2, anyway, that was underway. Again, the bans, the picks on this one was an Erlang jungle. Erlang, again, first pick, comes out as quite a prioritized pick from them, into a Fafnir support, a Bologna solo, a Hatchiman ADC, and a Cuckoo Cullen in mid. Now, from the opposite team on Dolphins Worldwide, AMC became mid, Kronos carry, Terra support, Circuit jungle, and a Cerberus solo. This one came from an early first blood in duo lane, where they managed to clean up both the ADC and the support on Dolphins Worldwide. So they took the first blood on this. They later on in the team fight started pushing. They managed to take all the towers, grouped up for fire, took fire unannounced. So there was no contestation in fire. And as all the towers were down, they relaxed a little bit, and they just managed to take that fire giant, and just after a couple of sieges managed to break through, win the game. Game 3 was the longest game by far. So game 2 lasted for 29 minutes. Sorry. Game 3, that was a half-an-hour game. So this was the longest game out of the entire set. So at this point, it's 1-1. You got Dolphins Worldwide got a bit more momentum after that win. So we'll see how that actually helped them into this. So again, the drafts, we've got an Erlang support. Again, quite a key priority pick. I will say that again from Corey's team. But then Arthur came in solo, Nijar in jungle, a Freya carry, and a Ram mid. Sorry, so it was the Erlang support. I will emphasize on that one. The opposite draft was again a Muzen Carb in mid, Soul as carry, Fafnir support, a Susan or a Susano in jungle, and a Sobek in solo. So the first blood on this one came out of mid lane on the enemy jungle. And then on the support as well. So it was quite a clumsy fight on that one on their behalf, but they managed to take the 2 fights quite well. They then pushed early game, mid lane, quite neck and neck, with a couple of towers each way. Yanis's team, Dolphins Worldwide, then managed to group up for Fire Giant, and by the time the enemy team had realised they were on Fire Giant, it was too late at that point. They had taken Fire Giant. They were still engaged upon, but after quite a good zoning from Dolphins solo laner that managed to keep the Amusen Carb alive, they managed to even out that fight and come out still with 3 people on Fire Giant. After that, they managed to they pushed up the left lane, took the Phoenix, didn't quite manage to finish the game, but after they relaxed a little bit, went for the enhanced fire again, uncontested again. Seems like there was no vision on the enemy team's behalf on this. They took the enhanced fire, pushed up right, and straight into victory. So they're now leading 2-1 into this. Quite a bit of momentum, and we'll go into the last game. Last game was, I'd say, the quickest game at 22 minutes. It was only a couple of minutes shorter than the first game, but it was a very aggressive game on this one. So I'll start off with the drafts again. So it was an RTO, Kumbhakana, Kali, Neath, and Discordia on the first team staff, and from Dolphins it was Fafnir, Kronos, Humbats, Morrigan, and Bologna. So that Morrigan that Yanis is known on did come out on this set, and it came out quite strong. So it was an aggressive start in the duo lane from Corey's team, which led to the first blood within the first minute of the game. So it hadn't even hit a minute on the game time yet, and a first blood had already been taken, and that was on Dolphins Worldwide support. Aggression started getting heated, and Yanis in mid managed to pick up a couple of kills early game to sort of even out the fights. And then Yanis' team, Dolphins Worldwide, just done what they'd done, took Fire Giant, uncontested again. It was realised that too late again. I don't think vision was available, or nobody sort of clocked onto what was happening when people were missing. They took Fire Giant quite early, pushed up left lane, and just won the game so cleanly. That game, I would say that Morrigan was quite a key factor. Came out with 9 kills, 0 deaths on that one. He was just as soon as the Morrigan came online, came online and started hitting hard and became apparent. Close sets, but 3-1 to Dolphins worldwide. They move on into the winners bracket, and unfortunately, Corey's team, they fall down into the losers bracket. MVP wise, it was hard to make an MVP on this one. So many good plays on everybody's behalf, but I think I would have to give the MVP to Giannis on Dolphins worldwide, their mid laner. Just the picks that he was getting and the kills he was getting in each game, and ended up just helping so dramatically. And he was just such a key factor in that damage output for Dolphins worldwide, and that's why he gets the MVP in my opinion.
Right, you're back with me. Redemption Gaming versus Lucas Kittens. Yeah, this is going to be the opposite of the last set you just heard about. Not close at all. Forfeit in game one due to Lucas's Kittens support not showing up on the time given. Lucas Kittens were very difficult to try and organise the game with, and the time limit was hitting at the end of the week that the games were playing. This was the only available date. So Lucas's Kittens voluntarily forfeited game one. Second game, their support is there for. They have their full team. And yeah, they should have just forfeited. It just wasn't close. This game was over in 21 minutes. Redemption Gaming took them to the cleaners with some pretty standard drafting and some great ADC play from Just Matt Gaming, some good jungle play from Eddie King, great mid lane play, great support play, great solo lane play. I mean, it was just standard. It was literally just over until, like I said, 21 minutes. Game 3, Redemption Gaming took their foot off the gas a bit and drafted an interesting comp, to say the least, with an Amaterasu solo, a Morrigan support, a Mercury ADC. Kept it standard in mid and jungle with an Arachne, and I can't remember who the mid laner was, because this is just how memorable this set actually was. You just can't remember. This game lasted 28 minutes, and Redemption Gaming took that pretty easily. Had some struggles in the early game team fights just with the whole comp situation, but once they grouped up as 5, they just walked in and ended the game. I'm going to give the MVP in this set. It's difficult, but I'm going to give it to Pleb, the mid laner for Redemption Gaming, just because he played the most consecutively over the two. He had just very good games both times, like didn't really make any mistakes. So Pleb is my MVP. Moving on to the last set of round 1, Way to Play versus Prometheus. Now, I'm not going to be able to report much on this because neither team was able to record, and I've not actually heard too much about the games, but I have to release this video because I am falling behind because round 2 has already started. Way to Play took this one 3-0. The first, however, there was some controversy going around that the fact that Prometheus stopped practicing leading up to the set after being told by a very well-respected person on a very good team that if they play like they had been playing, they would 3-0 Way to Play. That got to their heads. They stopped practicing. They were losing 2-0 after day 1. Going into the day 2 for the set, they kicked their solo laner due to toxicity and just not getting along with the team, and they had to come in with a fill, and the set got completed. The clean sweep for Way to Play. Way to Play advance on to play Redemption Gaming in the next round, which is so far the best, probably going to be the best set of the tournament so far, and Prometheus go down to play Lucas's Kittens in the losers bracket. Now, I can't really give a MVP, so I'll just give it to Jonas Brunhammer because he's the captain of Way to Play, and I have to give an MVP. So, I think that's everything. Yeah, that's all the games. Vamp, how did round 1 go in your opinion?
Not quite as expected. I expected more sort of ferocity, especially in the set I was able to watch with Dolphins worldwide. I was expecting sort of a closer games. I was expecting a game 5, if I'm honest. I wasn't expecting it to go a 3-1. I'm glad that it was close and aggressive, but I would have expected a bit more of aggression coming out from both teams, really. There was a couple of starts that were just a bit slower than expected, and like I said, I was expecting that round 5. Game 5 in that round, but other than that, the other sets went pretty much as expected. No real sort of surprises or shocks in my opinion. The main shock for me was the fact that there was no game 5. in the game that I managed to watch. But other than that, pretty decent,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I'd say for me, apart from obviously what you said, the other shock was the step to the left dropping a game. I think that was a shock, personally. Just with some of the players they have against the
Yeah,
Infernal Warriors team that was ladled, but was they had to play against. It wasn't the Infernal Warriors that are currently around. It was it
no,
wasn't it wasn't
yeah,
great.
it definitely was slightly unexpected. In my opinion, I was expecting one game to be dropped. But that was personal opinions. But it's definitely sort of an unexpected outcome. But I'm sure there'll be plenty more surprises coming in store.
Right, yeah, definitely. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be back again after round 2 of the winners bracket and round 1 of the losers bracket are complete. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye. Boom. That's us done.